Before we begin, take a deep breath, let your shoulders relax, and allow your mind to settle into a gentle, calming space. Tonight, we're traveling far beyond the boundaries of time, into the quiet whispers of civilizations long forgotten. If you enjoy peaceful stories that help you unwind, relax, and drift into sleep, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us continue bringing you soothing historical journeys every night. Now, close your eyes softly and let the echoes of the ancient world guide you into a calm, dreamy state. In the quiet stillness of the ancient world, long before the rise of empires like Rome or the flourishing courts of medieval Europe, there existed civilizations whose voices have almost faded completely from human memory. Their cities have crumbled into dust, their languages have drifted into silence, and their stories now survive only in fragments buried beneath desert sands, hidden inside mountain caves, or preserved as faint symbols carved into stone. Yet, even in their disappearance, they continue to whisper to us, inviting us to listen closely to what remains of their mysterious presence. Tonight, as you settle deeper into comfort, we will walk softly into the dimly lit corridors of these forgotten societies, letting their secrets reveal themselves gently, piece by piece, like a slow sunrise breaking over an ancient landscape. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast primordial world. The air is warm, filled with the faint scent of distant rain drifting across a barren, cracked earth. The horizon glows with ember-like light as the sun sinks behind weathered mountains, turning the sky into a tapestry of violet and deep gold. Somewhere below you lie the ruins of a civilization that once thrived with laughter, markets, rituals, and languages now lost to time. Archaeologists uncover pieces of pottery, broken tools, or small trinkets, objects that once held meaning for people whose names we will never know. As you breathe slowly, imagine the sound of a gentle wind brushing against ancient stone walls, carrying with it the faint murmur of a once living world. These civilizations lived in harmony with the land, shaping it with remarkable skill, creativity, and spiritual belief. Their world was not divided by modern borders or shaped by global conflicts. Instead, it was a realm guided by nature, by the cycles of sun and moon, and by the quiet understanding that life itself was a sacred rhythm. Their stories were not written in books, but preserved in oral traditions, passed from one generation to the next with careful respect. As we explore their world, imagine yourself drifting deeper into this remote past. You can almost see the torchlit pathways that once led through crowded marketplaces where villagers traded goods carved from bone, clay, and stone. You can picture children playing beneath towering temples built by hands now long gone, their laughter echoing against walls decorated with symbols that hint at myths and gods we barely understand today. There is a calming, timeless beauty in imagining these scenes, a gentle reminder that humanity has always sought connection, meaning, and belonging, even in the most ancient times. As the world around you grows quieter, allow yourself to sink into this journey fully. Let the distant hum of forgotten cultures wash over you like a soft wave, helping your body relax and your thoughts slow down. These forgotten civilizations remind us that every stone once had a purpose, every settlement once held life, and every whisper of history, no matter how faint, still carries the heartbeat of the people who lived it. As you move deeper into this landscape of vanished worlds, imagine the subtle glow of twilight settling over a forgotten settlement. The sky darkens into a deep, velvety blue, and the first stars begin to shimmer faintly overhead. These were the same stars the ancients once gazed upon as they gathered around quiet fires, sharing stories about creation, destiny, and the unseen forces they believed shaped their lives. Their understanding of the cosmos came not from telescopes or scientific instruments, but from intuition, observation, and a profound respect for the heavens. Every star, every season, every shadow cast by the moon held meaning. For them, the night sky was a map, a guide, and a comfort. As you imagine their world, notice how naturally your breathing falls into a slower rhythm, as if you, too, are adjusting to the calm pace of a civilization unburdened by modern noise. Move through their narrow pathways lined with mud brick homes, each structure shaped meticulously by hand. Picture families gathering in open courtyards, where hushed conversations blend with the distant sound of water trickling from a clay pot, an oasis of peace in the vast silence of the ancient night. Their routines were simple, but deeply connected to the land. Harvesting crops in the soft, golden light of dawn, grinding grains with stones worn smooth by generations, weaving baskets with precision passed down through centuries. Though their lives lacked the complexity of modern technology, they carried a quiet wisdom and understanding that survival depended not on speed, but on harmony. They listened to the earth, watched its signals, and honored its rhythms in ways that feel almost foreign today. Yet, imagining this slower pace brings a sense of relief, as though time itself stretches gently to make space for rest. Their belief systems were shaped by the world around them. Mountains were seen as the homes of gods, rivers as sacred lifelines, and storms as messages from powerful spirits. Even the simplest aspects of nature held profound symbolic meaning. In their eyes, the universe was alive, humming with energy and intention. Every grain of sand, every movement of wind carried spiritual weight. They built temples not merely as structures, but as bridges between their world and the divine. When you picture these temples' towering stone formations illuminated by flickering torchlight, you might feel the quiet awe that once surrounded them. These places were sanctuaries, where priests chanted softly, where rituals were performed with slow, deliberate motions, and where communities came to feel protected, guided, and connected to something greater than themselves. In imagining their rituals, your mind also relaxes, drawn into the gentle cadence of ancient ceremonies. Now imagine wandering through a marketplace just before dusk. The warm smell of grains, dried herbs, and freshly baked bread drifts through the air. Merchants sit cross-legged beside woven baskets filled with goods crafted by artisans, small figurines, polished beads, jars sealed with wax, and fabric dyed with pigments made from crushed minerals. The marketplace hums with soft conversation, not rushed, but steady, like a river moving at its own natural pace. People barter not out of urgency, but out of a sense of community and mutual trust. Their voices are gentle, their gestures deliberate. As you observe this scene, you may feel a similar calm settling into your body, as though you, too, are part of this peaceful exchange. The ancient world was shaped by rituals of daily life that were carried out with patience and care. In the early mornings, you might imagine villagers sweeping the dust from their thresholds, offering a quiet prayer to the rising sun, or preparing clay lamps for the evening ahead. These small acts, repeated endlessly over generations, formed the pulse of their existence. They lived with a deep awareness of time, not controlled by clocks or deadlines, but guided by natural cycles. Sunrise, sunset, the shifting phases of the moon. Everything they did moved to this timeless rhythm. When you picture their world, it's easy to let your own internal rhythm slow down, syncing gently with the calm traditions of people who lived without hurry. And yet, for all their simplicity, these civilizations were astonishingly innovative. Without machines or advanced tools, they created irrigation systems, observatories, written symbols, and architectural wonders that still puzzle historians today. Even the smallest artifact found by archaeologists, a carved stone bead, a fragment of pottery, a rusted tool, speaks to their ingenuity. Each object carries the echo of hands that shaped it, minds that imagined it, and cultures that cherished it. As you visualize these artifacts resting silently in the earth, you might feel a growing appreciation for how human creativity has always existed, even in the earliest chapters of our story. That sense of wonder, quiet and steady, deepens your relaxation further. And as you step deeper into this imagined ancient world, the boundary between the present and the past begins to blur, allowing you to experience the calm simplicity of a time untouched by the noise of modern life. Picture a settlement built along the banks of a slow-moving river, its waters reflecting the fading colors of the evening sky. Clay huts line the shore, their roofs made of woven reeds and dried grass, shaped by the careful hands of families who have lived there for generations. The warm glow of small oil lamps flickers inside, casting soft shadows against the rounded walls. Outside, a few villagers gather around a communal fire, their voices low and rhythmic as they share stories about the origins of their people, the spirit of the river, and the stars that guide their journeys. The crackling of the fire blends with the gentle rustling of leaves, creating a soothing soundtrack that has echoed through time for thousands of years. The people of this forgotten civilization lived in close harmony with nature, not simply as observers, but as participants in a delicate balance that sustained their world. They understood the patterns of the seasons, the migration of animals, and the rising and falling of the waters. Their survival depended not on conquest or expansion, but on the wisdom passed down from their elders, who had watched the land long enough to know its secrets. They believed that every corner of the earth had a spirit, and that to live a good life, one must honor these unseen forces. As night descended, they often gathered at sacred places, perhaps a large stone that stood upright in the center of their village, or a clearing where the moonlight touched the earth just right to perform rituals meant to express gratitude, seek protection, or call upon guidance. These traditions, though mysterious to us today, provided them with a sense of identity, unity, and comfort. Imagine the scent of the burning herbs they placed into the fire, drifting gently through the cool night air, creating a calming atmosphere that embraced the entire village. Elders sat close to the flames, their faces illuminated by the warm light as they shared legends of ancient ancestors who once shaped the mountains, carved the rivers, or taught humanity how to grow food, make tools, and understand the sky. These stories were more than entertainment. They were a map of life, a way for the younger generation to understand their place in the world. As children curled up beside their parents, their eyes heavy with sleep, the soft cadence of the elders' voices guided them into dreams filled with glowing stars, mythical creatures, and landscapes far beyond the reach of their waking lives. And though this civilization has vanished into the folds of history, the remnants of their presence still lie scattered across the earth, waiting to be rediscovered. Archaeologists may uncover a shard of pottery decorated with spiral patterns that once held symbolic meaning, or a fragment of a tool shaped with remarkable precision, using nothing but stone and determination. Sometimes, entire ruins surface collapsed temples, ancient burial grounds, or intricate carvings etched into rock faces that hint at rituals, beliefs, and ways of life long forgotten. These discoveries, though small in comparison to the full scope of their existence, are precious windows into a world that feels distant yet deeply familiar. As you visualize these ancient remnants, allow your breathing to grow slower, softer, and deeper. Picture yourself walking through the ruins, your footsteps quiet against the dusty ground as you trace your fingers along the weathered surfaces of stones carved thousands of years ago. Each mark, though worn by centuries of wind and rain, still carries the intention of the hands that created it. You can almost feel the energy of the people who once lived here, their hopes, their fears, their joys, and their dreams. In these moments, the past becomes alive again, not through noise or movement, but through the gentle stillness that surrounds you. The night deepens, and the stars begin to stretch across the sky in luminous patterns that ancient civilizations used to navigate both land and spirit. Many of these societies believed that the stars were the homes of their ancestors, or the dwelling places of gods who watched over their world. They studied the sky with reverence, observing the slow movements of celestial bodies, and interpreting them as messages or signs. With no artificial lights to obscure their view, their connection to the cosmos was intimate and constant, shaping their understanding of time, destiny, and the cycles of life. As you imagine looking up at the same sky, thousands of years later, you might feel a faint sense of connection to them, as though the stars themselves hold the memories of every human gaze that has ever risen toward them. And as you stand amid these ancient echoes, you begin to sense that their lives, though distant, were not so different from ours. They loved, feared, dreamed, and wondered, just as we do. Yet everything around them moved with a slower rhythm, untouched by machines, technology, or the noise of modern life. Their nights were illuminated only by moonlight and fire, and their mornings began with the sound of animals stirring, the calls of distant birds, and the soft rustling of wind through primitive fields. Imagine the calmness of a world where silence was not rare but natural, a world where the heartbeat of the earth itself seemed louder than human voices. As you let this thought settle, You may feel your own breath slowing, your senses softening, and your mind drifting deeper into the landscape of the forgotten past. In these civilizations, time was not measured by minutes or alarms, but by the position of the sun, by the flow of rivers, and by the migration of animals. Every part of their existence followed nature's rhythm. When rains came, joy filled the villages as crops began to thrive. When droughts arrived, communities gathered together, sharing resources and performing rituals in hopes of divine favor. They believed the world around them was alive. Every mountain had a spirit, every river held a memory, and every tree carried wisdom passed down from the beginning of creation. Such beliefs guided their daily actions, shaping their moral values, their fears, and their celebrations. And even though many of these traditions have vanished, the energy of those ancient practices still lingers, like faint footprints pressed into the soil of history. As the sun set on their world each night, fires flickered in small gatherings. Storytellers, respected keepers of memory, would share myths that blended truth, imagination, and cosmic wonder. Some stories explained how the stars were born, how the world was shaped, or how humans learned to survive. Others warned of spirits that guarded the forests or gods who commanded storms. Listening to these tales beneath a night sky unbroken by city lights must have been a profound experience. The stars would appear brighter, larger, almost close enough to touch. The Milky Way would stretch overhead like a glowing river of dust and light, and every whisper of wind would carry a sense of magic that has long since faded from our modern world. As you relax deeper into this moment, imagine yourself sitting beside one of those ancient fires. The warmth gently touches your skin, the flames sway softly, and sparks float upward into the dark sky. Around you, villagers sit quietly, their faces calm and reflective as they listen to the storyteller's gentle voice. The crackling fire becomes a rhythm, a steady hum that brings peace to the mind. You can almost feel the centuries peeling away as the storyteller begins weaving another tale, one about the origin of their people, or the journey of their ancestors across mountains and seas. This moment, suspended in time, feels serene and comforting, like being wrapped in a blanket woven from thousands of years of human memory. These civilizations may have lacked the science and technology we rely on today, but they possessed a deep understanding of the natural world. They knew how seasons shifted, which plants healed sickness, which stars guided travelers, and which animals signaled danger or safety. Their knowledge came not from books but from listening, observing, and living in harmony with the land. This kind of wisdom, passed down through generations, created a connection between humans and nature that feels almost mythical now. As you let these thoughts settle into your mind, you may begin to appreciate how rich their world truly was: quiet, yes, but filled with meaning. Even their hardships, though painful, carried lessons that shaped their resilience. Floods, illnesses, and harsh winters tested their strength, but communities survived through unity. They built their homes from materials found nearby: clay, bamboo, wood, or stone structures that blended naturally with the environment. At sunrise, families worked together in fields or rivers. At night, they gathered to rest, heal, and reflect. Their days ended not with screens or noise but with the gentle lull of wind and the soft glow of fire. And as centuries passed, their stories, tools, and symbols became the foundation for future cultures, quiet reminders that even forgotten civilizations leave lasting footprints on the world. Their cities, now ruins, once vibrated with life. When you look at remnants of stone walls or broken pottery, you are seeing the faint heartbeat of those who came before us. Every mark etched into stone was made with purpose. Every carving on a temple wall told a story, honored a deity, or marked a significant moment in their history. And though we can no longer understand their languages fully, the emotions behind their symbols remain universal. Love, fear, celebration, loss, these are the threads that connect us across time. As you let your thoughts drift across these ancient landscapes, a deep sense of calm begins to settle in your chest. You might imagine walking slowly through a long abandoned settlement, hearing only the soft crunch of sand beneath your feet. The wind whispers against old stone pillars, carrying the faint memory of songs sung thousands of years ago. You pass by the remnants of houses once filled with laughter, marketplaces once alive with bargaining voices, and sanctuaries where people prayed for guidance and protection. The silence here is not empty, it is sacred, peaceful, and timeless. In the soft quiet of the ancient world, where the first sparks of human imagination glowed beneath starlit skies, untouched by the noise of modern life, there existed civilizations whose stories drift through time like faint echoes we strain to hear even now, long after. Their cities have turned to dust, and their people have dissolved into the forgotten currents of history. As you settle deeper into this gentle journey, imagine yourself standing at the edge of a world both familiar and unreachable, a world where the boundary between myth and reality was thin as morning mist, and where each sunrise carried the promise of new rituals, new discoveries, and new steps in the long dance of humanity's early awakening. These ancient civilizations, whether nestled in fertile valleys, carved into mountain slopes, or stretched across vast desert plains, lived with a rhythm so deeply connected to the natural world that every sound, every shadow, and every breeze held meaning. Their languages have faded, their temples have crumbled, but the essence of their existence still lingers like a soft breath, woven into the fabric of time. If you close your eyes gently, you may almost feel the warmth of sun-baked stone beneath your fingertips, or hear the distant murmur of a marketplace alive with laughter, bargaining, and the clinking of handmade pottery. In this forgotten era, life unfolded not with the rush and noise we know today, but with a slow, almost meditative pace, guided by the rising of constellations, the shifting of seasons, and the quiet wisdom of elders who had watched the world change through countless cycles of growth and rest. Imagine walking along a narrow path lined with huts made of clay and woven reeds, their surfaces painted with symbols whose meanings have been lost but whose presence hints at a rich tapestry of belief. Children chase each other through patches of tall grass, their footsteps stirring tiny clouds of dust that dance in beams of golden afternoon light. Nearby, artisans sit cross-legged beneath makeshift awnings, shaping clay bowls with steady, patient hands, or carving intricate patterns into tools that would one day be discovered by archaeologists thousands of years later, puzzling over the intent behind each delicate line. The air carries the scent of earth, smoke, and freshly pounded grain, blending into an aroma that feels grounding and ancient. And as you breathe softly, you may find yourself drifting deeper into an awareness of how different, yet how deeply human, this world once was. These were societies built not on haste but on understanding, where every action from grinding flour to weaving baskets to telling stories beside a fire was done with a mindful presence that today feels almost sacred. As night approaches in this ancient landscape, the sky transforms into a cosmic tapestry so bright and clear that it feels as though the stars are close enough to touch, their shimmering reflections dancing on the surface of nearby rivers that once sustained entire communities. People gather around crackling fires at the heart of the settlement, sharing stories that blur the line between history and myth, stories of gods who walked among them, of ancestors who could speak to spirits in the wind, of celestial signs that foretold good harvests or warned of impending storms. These stories, carried through generations by memory alone, acted as living libraries long before writing existed. They shaped identity, guided decisions, and preserved the wisdom of ages in ways that still influence cultures today, even though the original storytellers have long vanished into the quiet embrace of time. You can imagine the warm glow of firelight flickering across the faces of these ancient people, illuminating features hardened by labor but softened by moments of communal peace, as embers rise into the night sky and disappear like fleeting thoughts. As the fire crackles, elders speak slowly and deliberately, choosing each word with care because they know that memory is fragile and must be tended like a flame. Children listen with wide eyes, absorbing every detail, every lesson, every whisper about the origins of their people, the nature of the world, and the unseen forces that govern life and death. In these moments, history feels alive, breathing, evolving, carried forward through generations by voices that knew the power of storytelling long before ink met parchment. And as the night deepens, music begins soft rhythms, played on simple instruments carved from bone, wood, or stretched hide, their tones rising and falling like the pulse of the earth itself. The music is steady, soothing, meditative, inviting everyone to sway gently or close their eyes and let the melody carry them into a space where time seems to slow to a near standstill. Perhaps someone hums an old lullaby, its notes lingering faintly in the cool air as the stars wheel slowly overhead. Far beyond the firelight, the land stretches into darkness, dotted with the silhouettes of forgotten monuments whose meaning has been debated for centuries. Some were temples, others burial sites, others astronomical tools crafted with precision so remarkable that even modern scientists marvel at the mathematical understanding required to construct them. Imagine standing before one of these ancient structures, your footsteps quiet on the packed earth, as you run your hand along stones worn smooth by thousands of years of wind and rain. You feel the faint grooves where symbols once told stories now hidden from our understanding. You sense the presence of a civilization that looked up at the same stars you see tonight, wondering about their place in the vast, mysterious universe. As you breathe slowly, your mind drifts deeper into this ancient world, imagining the dawn of agriculture, when small communities began settling near rivers, discovering how to plant seeds and harvest crops that would sustain them through harsh seasons. This transition from nomadic life to settled society marked one of the greatest turning points in human history. With stability came innovation, pottery, weaving, early forms of writing, architecture, and governance. These early cities were not mere clusters of buildings but reflections of human creativity and resilience. Their people worked together to solve problems, share resources, and build homes that echoed their understanding of nature, astrology, and the rhythms of the earth. You can almost see the shadows of farmers walking between fields of barley, hear the soft scuff of sandals against stone roads, and feel the warmth of morning sun on walls made from sun-dried brick. And deeper still, beneath all these visible expressions of civilization, there existed an emotional world that mirrors our own love, fear, hope, loss, curiosity, and wonder. A mother singing to her child as she grinds grain. A young artisan perfecting a carving technique passed down from his father. A priest watching the stars and predicting the arrival of seasonal rains. A traveler returning home with tales of distant lands where people live differently but dream the same dreams. These small, intimate moments weave together into a vast tapestry of human experience that stretches back into the earliest chapters of our shared story. And though the civilizations that created these moments have long since disappeared, their essence lingers quietly in our own traditions, languages, and beliefs. As you sink deeper into relaxation, imagine the slow passage of centuries as these civilizations rise, flourish, and eventually fade. The reasons vary: climate change, natural disasters, invasions, internal conflict, but the result is the same. Abandoned cities reclaimed by forests, temples swallowed by sand, pottery buried beneath layers of earth, waiting to be uncovered. Even in their disappearance, they speak to us. A shard of painted clay tells the story of an artisan's careful hand. A collapsed wall reveals the architectural ingenuity needed to survive in harsh landscapes. A burial site reflects beliefs about life, death, and the afterlife. These fragments form the whispering voices of civilizations that refuse to be completely forgotten, reminding us that history is not just a record of dates and events, but a living echo of human existence. And so, as you breathe deeply and allow your mind to settle into a soft, restful state, imagine yourself stepping back from this ancient world, watching as the torchlights fade, the stars dim, and the first hints of dawn break across a landscape that has held countless generations in its quiet embrace. The whispers of these lost civilizations linger in the air, soft and soothing, carrying with them a timeless message that every life, every culture, and every moment, no matter how distant, contributes to the grand story of humanity. And even after everything else fades, their gentle echoes continue to guide us, comfort us, and remind us that we are part of something far older, far greater, and far more beautiful than we often realize. As you step deeper into this ancient world, picture the fading glow of twilight settling over a settlement that once pulsed with life. You walk slowly along a narrow path edged with smooth stones, shaped by centuries of bare feet passing over them. These stones still hold the warmth of the sun, and beneath your steps they feel almost alive, as if remembering each person who ever walked upon them. The evening air grows cooler, brushing against your skin like a soft whisper, carrying with it faint aroma of burning resin, an ancient fragrance once used in rituals meant to honor unseen forces guiding the balance of life. Far in the distance, you can hear the rhythmic drum beats that once marked the end of the day for these lost people, their patterns echoing through the vast open plains. Imagine yourself following that gentle sound, drifting toward it like a traveler seeking warmth after a long journey. Each beat seems to pull you further away from the noise of the modern world, leading you into a realm where time slows down and the worries of today become faint and insignificant. The landscape around you shifts from rugged cliffs to fertile soil, where ancient hands once planted grains that fed entire generations. These were civilizations that understood the world with an intimacy few modern societies can replicate. Every shift in the wind, every change in the color of the sky, every migration of animals held meaning, offering lessons about survival, community, and spiritual harmony. As you continue wandering, imagine seeing the silhouettes of structures rising faintly in the twilight, tall, weathered remnants of temples or gathering halls built with incredible dedication. Their surfaces are covered with carvings so old that many have eroded into soft, unreadable impressions. Yet, even in their fading, these carvings hold a strange power, as though they are still trying to speak across the chasm of time. You raise your hand to trace the grooves with your fingertips, feeling the cool stone beneath your touch, sensing the energy of the artisans who carved them thousands of years ago. Their tools were simple, but their craftsmanship was filled with purpose, guided by beliefs and rituals deeply woven into everyday life. In these civilizations, nothing existed without meaning. The cycles of the moon influenced planting seasons. The rising and setting of stars determined when leaders would speak to their people. Rivers were believed to carry the breath of the gods, and mountains were seen as guardians watching over each settlement. As the night settles further into this forgotten world, you can almost see the soft glow of firelight flickering from distant huts. Families gathered around these warm flames, sharing stories that held both wisdom and warning. They spoke of creation, of ancestors descending from celestial beings, of storms brought by spirits wandering across the sky, and of heroes whose deeds shaped the land. Their voices were gentle, layered with the warmth of tradition, and carried through the air with a rhythm that lulled children into peaceful sleep. These stories were the heartbeat of their civilization, keeping memories alive long after the individuals who first told them had passed away. The deeper you walk into this imagined past, the more you feel a sense of tranquility settling within you. The modern world's harsh lights and constant noise seem to fade completely, leaving only the soft hum of nature surrounding you. Crickets chirp gently in the tall grass, while the wind flows like a calm river through the branches of ancient trees. Somewhere nearby, water trickles quietly over smooth stones in a narrow stream that once sustained entire villages. The sound is delicate, soothing, reminding you of the preciousness of life, and how even the smallest natural elements held immense significance to these people. Their civilizations thrived not through conquest or wealth, but through balance with the land. They respected the earth as a living entity, understanding that harmony was essential for survival. As you breathe slowly, you may even imagine hearing the faint echoes of ritual chants drifting through the cool night air. These chants were once performed during celestial events, eclipses, solstices, and equinoxes, moments when the ancient world felt closest to the divine. People would gather on elevated platforms or open plains, lifting their faces toward the sky with awe and reverence. Their voices rose together in a unified, melodic cadence that vibrated through the ground, creating a connection between earth and sky that is difficult to comprehend in our modern world. Even though these civilizations have vanished, leaving behind only fragments, their presence feels strangely comforting. Their wisdom, though silent, still lingers in the earth beneath your feet and in the stories we continue to uncover from their ruins. As you walk through this world, let your breathing remain slow and steady, your mind open and calm, allowing these ancient whispers to guide you deeper into rest. The more you imagine, the more this forgotten world feels alive. Its beauty soft, its pace gentle, its mysteries welcoming rather than intimidating. And as the stars begin to appear overhead, shining with the same brilliance they offered to those ancient people thousands of years ago, you feel a growing sense of connection to something vast, timeless, and serene. It is a connection that reminds you that history is not merely a collection of dates and artifacts. It is a living, breathing tapestry of human experience, woven through centuries of hope, struggle, creativity, and quiet wonder. The more we wander through these echoes of ancient life, the more we begin to notice the subtle intricacies that defined their world. Every settlement, no matter how small, was a microcosm of careful planning and ritualized living. Streets were not merely paths from one home to another. They were conduits of social connection, spaces where neighbors exchanged stories, shared meals, and celebrated festivals. In the marketplaces, artisans displayed finely crafted wares, bowls and cups adorned with patterns that seemed almost alive, jewelry fashioned from stones and metals mined with painstaking effort, and textiles dyed in colors extracted from plants that grew wild in the surrounding valleys. These items were not merely functional, they carried meaning, symbolism, and a sense of identity that anchored each community firmly in its unique culture. As we move deeper, imagine the soft glow of oil lamps casting flickering shadows along the walls of communal halls. Here, elders taught children the legends of their ancestors, the myths of gods and heroes whose lives mirrored the triumphs and tragedies of human existence itself. Each story was an offering of knowledge, a lesson in morality, courage, or devotion, intended to guide the young into adulthood. With reverence for the world around them, in these moments, we begin to understand that civilizations are not defined solely by monumental architecture or military conquests, but by the quiet, enduring rituals of daily life, the shared meals, the storytelling circles, the observances of sunrise and sunset, of planting and harvest, of celebration and mourning. Consider the art that remains: murals painted on crumbling plaster, small figurines left on altars, symbols etched onto the surfaces of stone tablets. Each artifact is a fragment of consciousness, a window into how people of the past perceived themselves, their gods, and their place in the universe. Even as the millennia have passed, these remnants speak in a soft, patient voice, inviting us to listen closely, to imagine with empathy, and to connect emotionally across centuries. There is a soothing rhythm to this understanding, a gentle reminder that though civilizations rise and fall, the essence of human experience, the joys, fears, loves, and losses remains universal and timeless. Let your mind wander to the quiet moments of everyday life in these ancient worlds. Picture a farmer kneeling in fertile soil, planting seeds that will feed generations yet to come, or a scribe delicately marking symbols onto parchment, preserving wisdom for those who will live hundreds of years later. Even the smallest actions, preparing a meal, crafting a tool, singing a lullaby to a child, become part of the enduring heartbeat of civilization. In the stillness of night, these echoes are nearly tangible, wrapping around you like a soft, protective blanket. You feel the gentle pulse of human history, calming your own thoughts, slowing your heartbeat, and inviting you to drift toward serenity. As we follow the faint traces left behind, it becomes clear that the story of these lost civilizations is not one of tragedy alone, but also one of wonder. For every ruin, there was a creation. For every lost language, a poem or song once vibrated through the air. For every vanished city, countless acts of courage, love, and ingenuity occurred. And as you let your mind absorb these visions, you may feel a comforting sense that though these worlds are gone, their whispers remain, and they are here to guide you gently into a place of peace and reflection. Every stone, every tool, every carved symbol is a quiet invitation to pause, breathe, and immerse yourself in the eternal rhythm of human existence. Now, let your imagination drift even further, past the visible ruins, into the subtle, almost invisible marks left by civilizations that time tried to erase entirely. Beneath the earth, beneath layers of silt and sand, archaeologists discover fragments of tools, shards of pottery, and pieces of jewelry that, when pieced together, tell stories of people who lived, laughed, and loved in ways not so different from us today. Each artifact is a message carried across millennia, a quiet communication between the past and the present, asking us to acknowledge their existence, to honor their memory, and to feel the human connection that transcends centuries. Imagine holding such an artifact in your hand, the coolness of the stone, the faint trace of earth still clinging to it, and sensing the pulse of life that once infused it. Even in stillness, the energy of these people lingers, almost palpable in the quiet of the night. Imagine wandering through an ancient city at twilight. The streets are empty now, but you can see where markets once bustled with merchants selling fruits, grains, spices, and cloth. You hear the faint echoes of footsteps, of conversations, of music played on instruments made from wood, strings, and clay. Imagine peering through the archways of homes where families gathered to eat and share stories, their voices blending into the gentle hum of domestic life. You feel the warmth of their world, a calm, steady rhythm that mirrors the cycles of nature and the quiet passage of time. In these moments, you understand that civilization is not solely defined by grandeur or conquest, but by the everyday acts of living, loving, teaching, and creating. As you drift deeper into this meditative exploration, consider the spiritual and philosophical life of these ancient peoples. Many observed the movements of the stars and moon, reading the heavens to guide planting seasons, rituals, and celebrations. They developed systems of belief that connected them to their surroundings, to the cycles of nature, and to forces beyond comprehension. These beliefs were often expressed through intricate art, sacred architecture, and carefully preserved oral traditions, which served not only as guides for daily life, but as bridges between generations. Imagine sitting quietly in a temple, feeling the faint aroma of incense, hearing the soft chants of worshippers, and witnessing the profound reverence for life and the universe that permeated every act and thought. There is a quiet beauty in knowing that these people, despite the centuries that separate us, shared a yearning to understand their world and to live with purpose and connection. Even as you visualize these scenes, your body and mind begin to relax further. The world of ancient civilizations moves around you like a gentle river, flowing slowly, rhythmically, carrying with it the stories of people whose lives, while long gone, continue to touch ours. The calm of their daily routines, the artistry of their creations, the wisdom embedded in their teachings, all of it becomes a soothing lullaby for your thoughts, a way to ease tension, to slow racing minds, and to invite a gentle, restorative sleep. Imagine yourself lying down softly upon a stone floor, feeling the cool texture against your skin, yet sensing warmth in the echoes of life that once filled this space. It is a comforting paradox. These people are gone, yet their essence remains, whispering to you in soft, quiet tones, inviting you to listen, imagine, and dream. Finally, as you drift even further into the imagination of the past, think of the endless landscapes they inhabited: rolling hills, fertile plains, winding rivers, and majestic mountains. The very earth seemed alive with the presence of those who walked upon it before. Birds sang in the trees, winds rustled through the valleys, and the cycle of life continued uninterrupted. And though the human structures they built may have crumbled, the spirit of their dreams, hopes, struggles, and joys remains interwoven with the fabric of the world. Tonight, as you allow these images to fill your mind, feel yourself carried gently alongside them through time and space, into a serene state of awareness where the past becomes a quiet companion to your own rest, guiding you into a deep, peaceful sleep. As we continue our journey through the whispers of ancient civilizations, allow your mind to drift deeper into the quiet mysteries that time has preserved. Picture a civilization nestled along a winding river, where the gentle current reflects the soft golden hues of a setting sun. The air carries the faint scent of fertile earth, mixed with the subtle aroma of herbs cultivated carefully by hands that have long since turned to dust. Along the riverbanks, people gather to wash clothes, to fish, or simply to talk, sharing the rhythms of daily life. The sound of water moving over stones creates a constant, soothing melody, a lullaby that echoes across centuries. Imagine standing silently by the edge, feeling the cool mist against your skin, and sensing the calmness of this community's existence. It is a place where each person knows their role, where cooperation and harmony with the environment guide every action, and where the passage of time is measured not by clocks but by the cycles of nature, the phases of the moon, and the movement of stars above. Consider the architecture of this civilization. Low, elegant homes built from clay, reeds, and timber. Their roofs designed to collect rainwater. Their walls etched with symbols representing stories, prayers, and knowledge. Imagine stepping inside one of these homes, where a family sits together in the soft glow of a fire. The crackle of flames mixes with the gentle murmur of conversation as elders recount tales of heroes, of divine beings, or of lessons learned from ancestors. The children listen intently, their eyes wide, absorbing knowledge and wisdom as they learn the values of courage, respect, and patience. Every item in the home, from the carved wooden utensils to the woven mats on the floor, carries meaning and utility, reflecting the intimate connection between the people and the world they inhabit. Now, imagine the culture's artisans at work. Potters shaping clay on spinning wheels, painters adorning walls with vivid depictions of the natural world, and metalworkers carefully crafting tools and ornaments. Each creation is a testament to human creativity, patience, and vision. Even as centuries pass and the civilization falls to the relentless march of time, the artistry remains a bridge to the present. Picture running your fingers lightly over a ceramic bowl, feeling the faint ridges left by a skilled hand, sensing the rhythm and intention behind its creation. These details, seemingly small, are powerful reminders of the depth of human ingenuity and the quiet beauty that can emerge from daily labor. Visualize the spiritual life of this community. Temples rise gently toward the sky, built with care and devotion, their interiors filled with soft light filtering through intricately carved windows. Inside, rituals unfold in slow, deliberate motions. Offerings are made, chants are recited, and music flows softly from instruments crafted from wood, strings, and stone. The people believe deeply in forces beyond the tangible, in the cycles of nature, and in the presence of ancestors guiding their lives. As you imagine these sacred spaces, let yourself feel the calm reverence they inspire. You are not merely observing history. You are gently stepping into the heartbeat of a world that existed long ago, experiencing its serenity and wisdom as if it were your own. Beyond the cities and villages, the natural world continues its timeless rhythm. Fields stretch endlessly, rivers wind through valleys, and mountains rise as silent guardians. Farmers work with patience, sowing seeds that will nourish generations, tending livestock with care, and maintaining harmony with the environment. Hunters and gatherers roam forests, moving with respect and understanding, leaving only footprints behind. Imagine the quiet beauty of sunrise over the hills, the gentle glow illuminating the intricate patterns of leaves, the rippling reflections on water, and the soft calls of birds greeting the day. There is a sense of balance here, a harmonious existence where humans are part of the natural cycle rather than its conquerors. This harmony, this simple, unhurried life, invites you to slow your own thoughts, to breathe deeply, and to feel the gentle calm that arises from connection with the world around you. As evening falls, the communities settle in, lights flickering in homes, and quiet conversations giving way to the soft sighs of sleep. Imagine lying beneath the stars on a cool terrace, feeling the gentle breeze brush your skin, and hearing the distant, comforting sounds of life. The rustle of leaves, the chirp of nocturnal insects, the faint murmur of a river flowing tirelessly toward the sea. In this moment, the lives of the past and your present converge. You feel the deep continuity of human existence, the timeless pursuit of peace, of understanding, of comfort, and of connection. Every whispered story, every gentle ritual, and every act of care for another person or the earth itself creates a legacy that, though invisible, continues to ripple through time. In these quiet hours, the mysteries of ancient civilizations are no longer distant or inaccessible. They become companions, gently guiding your thoughts into a peaceful, reflective space. You sense that, while their cities may have crumbled and their names may be lost, the essence of who they were, their hopes, dreams, daily routines, and intimate experiences remains a source of calm and wonder. Each moment of this imagined journey allows you to breathe more deeply, to relax more fully, and to drift closer to a restful, restorative sleep. As the night deepens, you feel yourself embraced by the serenity of countless generations, carried forward on the gentle current of time, and lulled into a state of quiet, comforting awareness that is both timeless and immediate. As you continue to drift through this imagined world, picture the festivals and communal gatherings that once brought life and color to these civilizations. Though small by today's standards, each celebration was profound, carrying layers of meaning, tradition, and joy. Villagers would gather in open squares or near sacred temples, their faces illuminated by flickering lanterns, their hands busy with decorations, and their voices joining together in song. Music, soft and melodic, filled the air flutes, drums, and stringed instruments blending in harmonies that were passed down through generations. Dancers moved gracefully, their motions mimicking the cycles of nature, the flight of birds, or the flow of rivers. Every act, every gesture, every note of music was intentional, a ritualized expression of gratitude, hope, or remembrance. Imagine observing these movements with complete calm, letting your mind absorb the soothing rhythm of their life, and feeling yourself gently swaying with the cadence of an age long gone. Now, envision the wisdom held by the elders, who guided their communities with patience and compassion. They had watched generations grow, learning the subtle patterns of life, the delicate balance between humans and the earth, and the quiet truths that only experience could teach. They shared knowledge of healing, astronomy, agriculture, and art. Their stories were not just entertainment, they were maps for living, offering guidance on how to navigate life's joys, sorrows, and uncertainties. As you imagine listening to their words, feel the calm they impart, the soft weight of centuries of understanding settling over you like a gentle blanket. Their presence reminds you that human experience is a continuum, a flowing river connecting past, present, and future, and that wisdom, when shared softly and intentionally, becomes a gift that transcends time. Consider the relationships that formed the backbone of these communities. Families, neighbors, and friends depended on one another for survival, comfort, and companionship. There was no rush, no constant noise of modern life. Instead, there was a slow, deliberate rhythm where every gesture, every conversation, and every shared meal mattered. People nurtured one another, taught one another, and supported each other through trials and triumphs. The quiet interdependence of their daily lives created a strong, unspoken bond that wove the society together. Imagine feeling the warmth of this connection, even as an observer across the centuries, letting it soothe your own mind and heart. In this imagined calm, you can almost sense the reassurance that arises from knowing that life is shared, that struggles are not faced alone, and that love and care endure even when generations pass. Now, let your mind wander further, beyond the villages and towns, into the surrounding landscapes where nature itself seemed alive and responsive to human presence. Forests swayed gently in the wind, mountains stood silently in the distance, and rivers wound gracefully through valleys, carrying life along their paths. Animals roamed freely, respected and sometimes revered, forming an essential part of the ecosystem. In these moments, the ancient people's existence appears as a harmonious interplay between human effort and natural rhythm. They lived not in domination, but in observation, cooperation, and understanding. Let yourself feel this harmony, the sense that every leaf, stone, and animal is part of a delicate, interconnected world that moves at a gentle, deliberate pace, encouraging you to slow your own breathing and relax further. Finally, as night settles over this imagined civilization, the world grows quiet, not empty, but serene. Lanterns glow softly in homes, fires flicker and cast dancing shadows, and the gentle murmur of rivers continues its steady song. Children drift to sleep with lullabies, elders contemplate the cycles of life, and artisans rest after a day of creation. Imagine yourself lying somewhere in this timeless space, enveloped by the quiet beauty of the past, feeling the collective calm of countless generations surrounding you. Their presence, though intangible, is reassuring. You are part of a continuum, connected to the rhythm of human life across centuries. And as your thoughts slow, as your heartbeat matches the gentle flow of history, you drift further into calm, peaceful rest, cradled by the whispers of civilizations that, though long gone, continue to offer comfort, wonder, and serenity. As the night deepens, imagine the faint light of stars reflected upon rivers and lakes, casting a silvery glow across the sleeping villages. The people of this ancient civilization would have gazed up at these same stars, seeing constellations that guided their planting, harvest, and spiritual observances. They may have wondered, as we do, about the vastness of the sky, about the mysteries of existence, and about the unseen forces that shape their lives. In their quiet contemplation, they found solace and meaning, a connection between the terrestrial and the celestial. Picture yourself lying on soft grass near a riverbank, looking up at the same stars, feeling that sense of wonder and connection wash over you. It is a gentle reminder that even across millennia, humans share the same awe, the same questions, and the same desire to understand the world around them. Now, let your thoughts drift to the music and poetry that filled these communities. Songs were sung in low, melodic tones, sometimes accompanied by simple instruments carved from wood, strings, and clay. The rhythms of their music mirrored the rhythms of life, the flowing river, the rustling trees, the steady heartbeat of human endeavor. Poetry captured stories, emotions, and observations, preserving them in a way that connected generations. Imagine sitting quietly as a poet recites verses by the light of a fire, each word carefully chosen, each pause intentional, creating a calm, meditative atmosphere. Feel the slow, soothing cadence of the words, letting it wrap around your mind like a soft blanket, easing tension, and guiding you further into relaxation. Consider the lessons embedded in their myths and legends. Heroes who displayed courage, wisdom, or compassion served as models for behavior and moral understanding. Tales of gods and spirits illustrated the consequences of human action, the importance of respect for nature, and the value of community. These stories were passed down orally for centuries, their subtle meanings layered and rich. As you imagine hearing these stories unfold, allow yourself to absorb the calm rhythm of their telling. There is no rush, no urgency, just the slow, deliberate unfolding of wisdom, designed to soothe the mind and cultivate reflection. Let the gentle cadence of these narratives guide your thoughts into peaceful contemplation. As dawn approaches in our imagination, the world of this ancient civilization slowly awakens. The soft light of morning stretches over fields, rivers, and hills, illuminating the meticulous patterns of cultivation, the careful construction of homes, and the quiet organization of village life. The people rise gently, moving with purpose yet calmness, aware of the interconnectedness of their environment. The sounds of animals, the rustle of leaves, and the distant chatter of early risers blend into a soothing natural symphony. Imagine walking alongside them, feeling the warmth of the sun, the gentle brush of a breeze, and the quiet joy of being part of a living, breathing world that respects and honors the rhythms of nature. Finally, as you let this entire journey sink into your mind, notice the lasting effect it has on your body and thoughts. You feel lighter, calmer, more present, and more connected to the continuity of life across time. The ancient people, though long gone, have imparted a subtle serenity, a reminder that despite the passage of centuries, there is comfort in routine, beauty in creation, and peace in quiet observation. Let your breathing slow, your mind settle, and your body relax fully, as the echoes of this ancient world carry you gently into the restful space where sleep can come easily and peacefully. You are cradled by history, wrapped in the quiet wisdom of civilizations that continue to whisper, reminding you that life, even across vast distances of time, is a rhythm meant to be observed, honored, and experienced with calm presence. As the journey through the whispers of ancient civilizations continues, imagine now a vast desert landscape stretching endlessly beneath a sky painted with the soft glow of twilight. Sand dunes rise and fall like gentle waves frozen in time, their surfaces patterned with the wind's delicate brush. Long ago, a thriving civilization existed here, resilient and resourceful, creating life and culture amidst this seemingly harsh environment. Water, the source of life, was treasured and carefully managed. Ingenious systems of canals, wells, and reservoirs allowed communities to flourish, and every drop of water became a precious gift, sustaining crops, livestock, and people. Picture yourself walking along these silent dunes, feeling the warmth of the sand beneath your feet and sensing the quiet endurance of those who lived here, their lives intimately intertwined with the rhythms of sun, wind, and earth. Now, imagine the settlements that dotted this vast desert, built with mud brick homes arranged in patterns that maximized shade, airflow, and community interaction. Courtyards provided spaces for family gatherings, celebrations, and quiet reflection. Roofs doubled as sleeping areas under the night sky, where children gazed at stars and elders recounted the lessons of generations past. Daily life unfolded with a deliberate calm. Artisans worked meticulously crafting pottery, tools, and fabrics. Farmers tended small, carefully irrigated plots of land, and traders journeyed across dunes, carrying precious goods and stories from distant lands. Each action was purposeful, mindful, and in harmony with the fragile ecosystem. Consider the spiritual life of this desert civilization. Temples and sacred spaces were built not only to honor deities, but to serve as centers of knowledge, culture, and community. Priests and sages taught philosophy, astronomy, and medicine, passing wisdom to those willing to listen. Imagine sitting quietly in one of these temples, feeling the cool stone beneath you, listening to chants resonating softly through columns, carved with symbols of gods, stars, and natural forces. The teachings emphasized balance between humans and nature, between thought and action, and between ambition and humility. Even as the desert wind howled outside, the inner spaces radiated calm, serenity, and focus. Let yourself absorb this calm energy, letting it settle in your mind, body, and spirit. Now, let your thoughts drift to the festivals and ceremonies that marked the passage of time in this civilization. Celebrations of the harvest, the solstice, or the phases of the moon were performed with meticulous care and deep respect. Music, soft and melodic, accompanied dances that mirrored the flow of nature, the wind across dunes, the movement of animals, the cycle of water through the land. Families gathered to share meals, artisans displayed their creations, and children learned through observation, song, and storytelling. The rhythm of life, though simple, was profound, teaching patience, reverence, and connection. Imagine observing these scenes, the subtle interplay of light, sound, and human presence, and feel your own mind and body sync with the gentle cadence of their lives. As night falls over the desert, the vast sky becomes a tapestry of stars, each one a silent witness to the passage of time and the lives that unfolded below. Imagine lying on soft sand, the coolness seeping through your clothing, hearing the distant, rhythmic whisper of wind over the dunes. The desert becomes a cathedral of calm, a place where reflection, observation, and serenity are amplified by the stillness of the night. In this quiet, the ancient people's lives feel remarkably close, their endurance, creativity, and reverence for life, offering you a mirror of peace, patience, and connection. You sense that, though centuries have passed, their lessons endure not in monuments alone, but in the rhythms of human experience that continue to resonate today. Beyond the settlements, the desert was alive with flora and fauna, each adapted to the extreme conditions, yet thriving with subtle grace. Imagine watching a nocturnal creature move silently across the sands, the soft rustle of its passage harmonizing with the distant call of owls and the whisper of the wind. Trees and shrubs appear sporadically, each one precious, providing food, shade, and shelter. Human ingenuity and observation ensured the careful stewardship of these resources. In your mind's eye, let yourself wander through this delicate balance, feeling the quiet lessons of observation, patience, and adaptation. The stillness of the desert teaches calm, the resilience of its inhabitants teaches perseverance, and the harmony of life here teaches respect. Finally, as the night deepens and sleep draws near, feel yourself enveloped in the timeless whispers of this desert civilization. The warmth of their daily lives, the wisdom of their elders, the rhythm of their ceremonies, and the gentle beauty of their environment create a cocoon of serenity around you. You are carried across the sands of time, cradled by the enduring presence of those who lived, loved, and dreamed here. Their whispers guide your thoughts into stillness. Their rhythms slow your breathing, and their wisdom reminds you of the gentle continuity of life. As your eyes grow heavy and your mind quiets, you drift further into the calm, peaceful embrace of history, carried gently toward a deep, restorative sleep by the eternal echoes of civilizations that continue to whisper their quiet secrets to those who are willing to listen. As you lie in this imagined desert, allow your mind to wander deeper into the intricacies of daily life that sustained this civilization. Imagine women and men working in tandem to grind grain, weave fabrics, and prepare meals. Their hands move with practiced precision, yet each action carries an innate beauty, a sense of purpose, and a quiet grace. Children play nearby, their laughter soft and melodic, blending with the gentle hum of the wind over the dunes. Every activity is interconnected, a seamless web of cooperation and shared responsibility that sustains both the physical and emotional well-being of the community. Let your thoughts follow this rhythm, matching your breathing to the deliberate, calm pace of their lives, feeling tension dissolve as you sink further into relaxation. Now, consider the artisans and storytellers who preserve the culture's memory. Painters adorned walls with symbols that told the histories of ancestors, heroes, and deities, capturing moral lessons and life experiences in vivid, enduring images. Potters etched intricate designs into clay, preserving both aesthetic beauty and practical function. Poets and singers recited tales under the soft glow of oil lamps, their voices rising and falling like gentle waves, carrying the collective memory of the people. Imagine listening to a story unfold, each word deliberate, each pause meaningful. You feel the calm of generations settle into your mind, the cadence of their speech slowing your thoughts, the rhythm of their storytelling guiding you toward a state of gentle reflection. As night deepens, the desert sky becomes a vast canvas, revealing constellations, planets, and the pale glow of the Milky Way. Imagine the ancient people gazing upward, their minds filled with wonder and reverence, seeking guidance, understanding, and inspiration from the stars. They observed cycles, noted patterns, and developed knowledge of celestial movement that guided planting, rituals, and daily life. You, too, are invited to gaze upward, to absorb the serenity of the star-filled sky, and to allow the immense calm of the cosmos to enfold your mind. The timeless sweep of the universe reminds you that life, in all its forms, is interconnected and continuous, and that the whispers of ancient civilizations carry a gentle, persistent wisdom that reaches across millennia. Let your imagination drift further into the spiritual practices of these desert dwellers. Imagine sacred rituals performed at twilight, where incense and flame illuminate intricate carvings, and soft chants rise into the evening air. These ceremonies honor life, nature, and the forces beyond human comprehension. Each ritual is performed with intention, reverence, and care, reinforcing a sense of connection to the land, the cosmos, and the community. Feel yourself immersed in this sacred calm, letting the slow, meditative rhythm of the chants echo within your mind, slowing your heartbeat and quieting your thoughts. This is not just observation. It is participation in a timeless, universal serenity that humans have always sought through ritual, reflection, and reverence. Beyond the settlements and rituals, the desert itself teaches profound lessons in patience and resilience. Life here is delicate and requires careful observation, thoughtful action, and respect for natural balance. Imagine travelers moving across dunes at dawn, guided by the sun and stars, carrying precious water and goods between villages. They walk with purpose yet attentively, aware of the fragility of life in this harsh yet beautiful landscape. The soft crunch of sand underfoot, the whisper of wind, and the distant call of nocturnal animals create a rhythm of calm awareness. Let your mind synchronize with this rhythm, each inhalation and exhalation becoming part of the steady, meditative pulse of existence, connecting you with the endurance, grace, and wisdom of those who walked these sands centuries ago. Finally, as your thoughts settle into this gentle desert night, imagine the tranquility of a community at rest. Lanterns flicker softly in homes, fires burn low, and families drift into sleep. The rhythm of life slows to a comforting cadence, and the desert itself seems to exhale, a vast, timeless breath that carries you toward serenity. You feel the presence of those who lived long ago, their resilience, creativity, and reverence for life surrounding you, in a protective, calming embrace. As you surrender to this moment, your mind quiets, your body relaxes, and the whispers of ancient civilizations guide you into a peaceful, restorative sleep, carrying the eternal wisdom of the past gently into your dreams. As our journey through the whispers of ancient civilizations comes to a close, allow your mind to linger in the gentle calm of these long-forgotten worlds. Imagine the soft glow of dawn touching the ruins of once great cities, the light revealing the intricate patterns etched into stone, the quiet beauty of walls that have witnessed generations of life. Feel the serenity of the past wrap around you like a warm blanket, reminding you that those civilizations rise and fall. The essence of humanity, our hopes, our creativity, our connections, remains eternal. Picture the people of these ancient worlds moving through their daily lives one last time in your imagination. Artisans carefully shaping their creations, children laughing in the sunlit courtyards, families gathering quietly in the evenings. Even in their absence, their presence lingers in the rhythm of nature, in the echoes of human endeavor, and in the stories preserved across centuries. Let this knowledge soothe you, as if these whispers from the past are guiding you gently into peace, reflection, and rest. Take a deep, slow breath, feeling the calm of countless generations flowing into your mind and body. Imagine the stars of the night sky above these ancient lands, twinkling softly, a reminder of the infinite, timeless beauty of existence. You are cradled by history, surrounded by quiet wisdom, and immersed in a space where imagination, reflection, and serenity meet. Let this calmness carry you further into relaxation, easing every thought, slowing every heartbeat, and inviting a restful, restorative sleep. And as you drift gently toward that sleep, remember that the stories of history are always here to guide you softly, patiently, and peacefully. If you found this journey soothing and enjoyed exploring the hidden wonders of the ancient world with us tonight, please make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us continue bringing these gentle, immersive historical journeys to guide you into calm and restful nights. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next voyage into the peaceful whispers of history. Thank you for joining us tonight. Close your eyes, let your mind drift, and let the timeless echoes of civilizations long past guide you into a deep, rejuvenating sleep. Good night.